Hey guys, so last video you kind of saw that the reptile room kind of came to shape and that the animals are all basically in their correct places and in the cages, and the cages are for the most part set up. And I actually just came home from vacation like half an hour ago, just got back home, just kind of unpacked myself a little bit and then saw that I had these two packages here. I actually already opened one and I have the other here. But I'm going to just really quick kind of sum up what kind of happened with the vacation. Basically, I went up to Oregon for a week, just kind of a well-needed vacation. Just basically did some fishing, some rafting, stuff like that, and spending all that time on the river, I developed myself a nice little that is not a tan. I don't know if you guys can see that at all. I am a tomato. I am sunburnt to hell, and it is no bueno. It hurts. So if you hear me like shriek like a girl or something, it's probably because I accidentally touched my sunburn. So don't mind that. But right here, I've got two packages, and in this package on top, I've got Dubia and a couple other things to help me out that I ordered as well. And then in this, I've got basically just egg cartons, and I'm basically just going to show you guys how I set up my Dubia breeding colony. And yeah, so hopefully this will be kind of a how-to on that. And by no means is this the only way to do it or the correct way to do it. This is how I do it, and you guys can do things how I do them, and I'll also kind of throw in a couple of different ways to do things and a couple other like common things that people use, techniques and such that people use. But let's go ahead and jump right into it. So let's open this box first. I'm going to actually switch down to this camera here. So let's do it. Alright, well, not that I don't trust you guys, but I'm going to put this here because I don't feel like getting any strange packages or any visits to my house. That would be awkward for both of us. Yeah, and here should be like just food, like water gels, cleaner crew, like dishes and stuff. And I don't know if all of you actually heard the story of what happened on my last attempt at breeding dubias. Well, it wasn't quite an attempt. Okay, water crystals will ship separate. Okay, well, so I guess I'm still waiting on the water crystals unless they may have already came. I'll go probably check the mail in a minute. But yeah, so I actually still already have water crystals. As you can tell, there is roach chow and such just about everywhere. How, I'm not entirely sure. Looks like one of the bags, yes, one of the bags in fact ripped. But it's not that big of a deal. I'm not too worried about it. I'm just going to start putting stuff down here. It's basically just food that is a little bit more specific to the roaches that will hopefully be better for the roaches. And then here you've got the cleaner crew, which is basically what, dermistids, which are just these, like, they're taxidermy beetles, and basically all they do is just clean the cage, more or less. It's basically just, it's taxidermy beetles, the larvae, and eggs, and then mealworms mixed in. The mealworms will eat the leftover roach chow, while the taxidermy beetles will eat any dead food content, any fruits, vegetables, that kind of thing, and they'll also eat like dead insects and stuff as well, so I don't have to worry about those. Yeah, so I've got all that all over the place. What is this? Water. Okay, let me get that out of there. And then you got the dubia, of course, in there. And a card. So, and then this little dish, basically, you put the food on the outside, the water crystals on the inside, and it allows them to access the food and water, and keep them separate and keep it so it's not like all over the place and not making a mess throughout the container, which makes a big difference. You'd be surprised. Cleaning can be kind of difficult with these, and it can be a pain, but there are ways of making it easier that I just choose not to do because for me I think it would be harder. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of put this stuff aside, and then we'll open up the other box and I'll start explaining what I'm going to do. Alright, so we've got that open, and the next thing we basically just got is a big gigantic thing of egg crate. In the past, you can basically order them just online. There's a ton of different websites that sell them. I think I bought mine from like eggcrates.com or something stupid like that. But I got 140 6x6 egg crates, or 6x5 egg crates, I guess you could say. I don't know. It really isn't that big of a deal. It doesn't matter one way or another. But yeah, so basically you use these, and that's what they're gonna crawl around in, and it's basically gonna be what they are gonna be in. And some people actually choose to build a frame to put these in to make sure that they're like off the ground or off the bottom of the tub, and that they're like evenly spaced out and stuff. I don't do that. I see it as kind of a just extra work and extra just unnecessary kind of little thing that some people do, but it can make things a little bit easier if you do choose to do it. But I don't mind doing the extra cleaning and whatnot, and plus I don't have the supplies right now. Okay, then other than that, I basically have all the supplies that you're going to need just kind of thrown around here in the room. First things first, you are going to need a tub. The tub will depend on how many roaches you are going to be breeding right off the bat. I actually had my colony up to a pretty large amount at one point, and then got them all thrown away. It's kind of a long story, and long story short, my grandma found bugs in my reptile room and decided that they were useless and just threw them away. I think I had something like 500 or something. I don't know. I can't remember exactly. I had a lot. Like, it was like a decent sized colony. I think it was somewhere closer to like 5,000 actually. I had like a really big colony. But yeah, so here you've got the tub, and the tub, I use a lid with just like a stupid little like air vent basically cut out, and then I just use this mesh here that I have. You buy it in big rolls, or I think you can probably buy it just anywhere, really. Any hardware store will sell it. It's just basically screen, and I just taped that on there with foil tape. And to be honest, a lid is really not necessary, but when you have people that come in and mess with your stuff, I prefer to have it closed and not accessible to everyone. Usually if there's a lid on something, people will choose not to mess with it, and when you have a grandma that touches everything, it's usually better to have a lid. And well, seeing how well it worked last time, she just threw them all away. But yeah, you technically don't need a lid because the dubias actually can't climb walls, or they can't climb glass. They can't climb, or they can, depending on how, like, there's tiny little fibers in the plastic. The babies can actually climb. So beware of that, because people that tell you that they will not get out, if you use the wrong tub and say the side of the tub is a little bit dirty or something, or there's just some sort of dust or something on the side of the tub, it is possible for the babies to actually climb out. They're really tiny and they can get out quite easily. But beyond that, the dubia themselves actually live in a tropical climate, so you actually want to maintain them at like an 85 to like 95 probably hot spot. That's kind of how I do it. I have a heat mat, which I have right here. I actually bought a new one because I used the other heat mat. And you don't really need a very big heat mat. I just use a 10 to 20 gallon, or really, it doesn't really matter. It's more just making sure that there is a spot in the cage, preferably the spot where the majority of the egg carton is, and making sure that that is heated to like 85 to 90-ish degrees. You can go up to like 95. I kind of tend to go like in maybe the 88 range. And to do that, I'm going to be using a thermostat. This is actually like a Big Apple thermostat, and it was actually really cheap when I originally bought it. I don't know if they make this particular one anymore, but it works extremely well for its purpose. It's got the little probe, got 3 different inputs, and it actually worked extremely well. So I will be using that for controlling the temperature, and I'll just basically tape the probe in there with foil tape. I mean, really doesn't matter what kind of tape. Foil tape just seems to kind of do the job, and that's what I have on hand. So let's go ahead and get it set up for now. And basically you're just going to put the food and water crystals on the opposite side where it is not heated. That's what I choose to do. And I also choose to put the vent on the side that is not heated as well. It kind of, it's always worked that way. And then beyond just the roach chow, you're probably going to want to put like different fruits and vegetables in there. Maybe something that you have like an apple core that you didn't completely eat or something like that. Maybe like a banana, something that you didn't finish, or maybe something that you just don't want to eat because it might be like a couple days old or something like that. You could probably just throw that in your roach container. It's basically a compost bin when it comes to something like that. But you're gonna want to clean that out later. So you're just gonna basically let them chow on that and then remove it as soon as possible, because then you'll start to get fruit flies and stuff like that, and you don't want that. And if you have rotting food matter in there, it also can make for mold and too much humidity inside of the container. But you do want a little bit of humidity, and usually the water crystals do tend to take care of that themselves. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get started. Right now I'm actually going to be going with a colony about the size of 200 to 250, and anything that you don't like clean out right away, that is what the cleaner crews take care of for the most part. I would highly recommend getting them. A lot of people just actually throw them in the container with the roaches, and you'd actually never know that you had gotten them. So a lot of people think that there's just random bugs in their roach colony and they actually throw them away or something. No, don't do that. Those are actually supposed to be there, and they are good for the colony and help you a ton. So without further ado, let's start setting her up, and yeah, so let's do this. Alright, so first things first, I'm basically just going to put these on in here. I just kind of like to just stack them kind of randomly. Like I said, some people build the frame, and it's basically like a just 2x2 like wood frame, and then they can have like little notches in the frame that make it so you can just basically slide it in and out, and it'll make it so that they're like spaced correctly so that it's okay. But you know, I seem to think just kind of offsetting them, having them thrown in there kind of random, just kind of seems to work just as well. I don't think the roaches seem to care either way. But like I said, that is an option, and you are able to do that if you choose to. And there's also some people that prefer to use bedding of some sort or use paper towels underneath. I've never really found that necessary, and I've never really worried too much about that. The more stuff you kind of have thrown in there, you gotta remember the more you're gonna have to clean, and you're gonna have to remove these regularly. That kind of works well is to flip them so they're like two things are going the same way, and then they don't stack quite as easily, so they won't like go within each other. If that makes sense. And it basically provides housing and hides and everything all in one for the roaches, which is all good. And you want to have them more vertical like that opposed to having them like this, because it allows the waste matter to fall to the bottom. which is better. That's more the reason why people like having them set like this, because it makes it so the waste will fall straight to the ground and won't get caught up. When you angle it a little bit, they do get caught up, but it's not that big of a deal, and I order a lot of egg cartons for a reason, because I plan to change them out. And I know I'm spending a lot of time doing this, but like I like it to be right. I'm kind of a perfectionist, as you may have figured out over watching some of my videos. And yeah, again, don't mind the fact that I look like a tomato. That's just the Irish in me. I know in the last video I said I was Italian. I am also Irish, like most people. I'm more than one thing. But yeah, so that actually kind of looked good. I may throw a couple more here or there by the end of it. I'm just going to kind of play it out, see how it goes. I haven't had a colony this small in quite a while, so it's going to be kind of a learning experience again for me as well. So we're going to see what happens. And I'm actually trying some new things this time. I've never had one of these little beater dishes, like the double dishes, rather than just talking about it. I guess I will show it to you. This right here, it's 2 dishes in one. Put the water crystals in here, the roast chow in there, and it actually has like a little hole in here. I'm not sure why. I might, like, there's a little hole there. I don't know why it has that. I may want to cover that up so it doesn't like make water go into the roach chow and make it all moldy or something. And I found some of my old water crystals. Over time I've kind of accumulated a lot of water crystals, and there's different kinds of water crystals that I've kind of grown to like. There's these really, really fine ones like this that's almost like a powder, and then there's ones that actually look like little crystals, and they become like big, like kind of chunks. For some reason I really like the big chunks, but unfortunately this is what I have right now. So I'm going to be using that and hoping for the best. This just never seems to work out quite well for me, and they are also so I don't know. I'm going to, I guess, do that last. I probably won't even bother showing the water crystal part in this video, but yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and throw this in there. Guess I'm gonna grab the bag of broken roach chow and dump some of that in the container, since it spilled throughout the entire box. It is basically everywhere, which is, you know, not good. And I don't like to fill it like to the brim. Like I like to just have like a little bit, and this is a little bit more difficult when you're doing it with a broken bag rather than a, like what I would usually do it with. Alright. Damn. Like half of it got into that little water portion, but that's like not that big of a deal. Just kind of move it out of there. But yeah, so kind of goes like that. And I'm just going to go ahead and put that on the side that's not going to be the hot side. And right now I'm not 100% sure where the tub is going to be going. I'm probably just going to end up putting it in some random place. I don't know if you can even see where I just placed that, but